My name is Clara Dawson. And if you told me 3 years ago that the people I loved most would one day laugh at me like I was a joke, I wouldn't have believed you. Graduation day was supposed to be mine. I'd worked for it. Every late night study session, every extra shift at the cafe to pay tuition. I'd done it all without help because Clara doesn't need anyone. That's what my mother used to say with pride. Until that day when pride turned into mockery. The table was full. My mother, my sister Janet, her husband Greg, and their 10. Your old son Ethan. There was even a cake, white frosting, a simple congratulations Clara piped across it in pink. I remember smiling when they brought it out, even though Janet had rolled her eyes at the idea of celebrating a degree in literature. Then, as I leaned in to blow the candles, Ethan grabbed the edge of the cake plate. Before I could react, he flung the entire cake onto the floor. The sound, the dull splat of soft sponge and icing hitting the tiles, still echoes in my head. For a moment, I thought it was an accident. I looked at him, waiting for a sorry. But instead, he grinned. Then he said it, loud enough for everyone to hear. Eat it off the ground, Aunt Clara. The table erupted. Laughter. My mother laughed. Janet laughed until she had tears in her eyes. Even Greg smirked, and I stood there, holding the useless knife, feeling my face burn. I didn't cry. I didn't speak. I just stared at the ruined cake, then at them. Each one laughing at me like I was a clown at my own celebration. That silence, it was the beginning of something I didn't yet understand. That evening, I quietly excused myself and left. I walked home in the rain, my graduation gown damp and heavy on my shoulders. I didn't know that the night would get worse. At 8:42 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was a text from Mom. We've chosen to sever all contact. Stay away forever. No explanation. No warning, just that. A few seconds later, a notification popped up. Janet liked this message. I remember staring at the screen for a long time, feeling my stomach twist. They laughed at me, humiliated me. And now they were cutting me off like I was some kind of disease. I tried to call, but the call went straight to voicemail. I typed a message, then deleted it, then another. Then I just sat there, on the couch in my small apartment. My degree certificate still in its envelope beside me. You know what hurt the most? Not the message, not even the laughter. It was realizing that my silence that day made them think they'd broken me. They forgot that silence can also be the sound of thinking. That's when my mind began to turn not toward anger but clarity. They depended on me more than they realized. My name was on the loan for Mom's house. I had co-signed Janet's business loan when her boutique nearly went under. I'd even been the one to put down the deposit for Ethan's school tuition when Greg's investments failed. And now they decided I didn't exist. Fine, they wanted me gone. I could vanish completely. The next morning, I woke up with a calm I hadn't felt in years. The kind that comes when you've already lost everything you cared about. So there's nothing left to fear. I brewed coffee, sat at my small kitchen table, and made a list. Mom's mortgage, my name as co-signer, Janet's boutique loan under my credit, Greg's car lease, guarantor, me, 3 signatures, 3 chains. By the end of that week, every chain was cut. I called the bank first. Explained that I wanted to remove my name from all joint obligations, effective immediately. The officer warned me it would transfer full responsibility to the other parties. I smiled. That's the idea. The boutique loan defaulted within a month. The car was repossessed 2 weeks later. And the mortgage, well, without my name, the lender reconsidered their agreement. Suddenly, Mom's house wasn't as secure as she thought. I didn't gloat. I didn't send a message or post online. I didn't need to. Revenge doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it's paperwork and quiet signatures. Still, that evening, I sent one final text to the family group chat, removing my name from every loan tomorrow. Then I turned off my phone and took a long bath. At midnight, my phone lit up like a storm. 37 missed calls from Mom, 22 from Janet. Even Greg tried 15 times. The group chat exploded. Clara, what do you mean by that? You can't just do this, it affects everyone. Be reasonable. You're destroying your own family. I scrolled through the messages, each one more frantic than the last. Then the one that made me laugh, you're being immature over a cake. Over a cake. I put the phone down, went to the kitchen, and sliced a small store. Bought cupcake. Chocolate with a swirl of vanilla frosting. I lit a candle, watched the flame flicker. And as my phone continued to ring in the background, I whispered to myself, "Happy graduation, Clara." I blew out the candle and smiled. Because for the first time, I wasn't waiting for anyone to clap. By morning, I had 100 missed calls, 47 unread messages, and one final voicemail from Janet, crying, begging me to help fix the mess. I didn't reply. Instead, I got dressed, printed my resume, and went to my first job interview at a small publishing house downtown. When I told the interviewer my story about resilience, about learning when to stay silent and when to walk away, he nodded and said, "You sound like someone who knows her worth." And that's when I realized it. This wasn't revenge. This was reclamation. Epilogue, it's been 6 months. Mom's house was sold. Janet's boutique closed. Greg finally got a job that didn't depend on me signing anything. And Ethan, he sent me a letter last week. Just one sentence, written in messy kid handwriting. "I'm sorry for the cake." I don't know if it was his idea or someone told him to write it. But I smiled anyway, because some things don't need revenge, just distance. And time. Now, every year on my graduation anniversary, I bake myself a cake. I sit by the window, light a candle, and remember the girl who stayed silent while everyone laughed. She's the reason I'm free now.